Hello, hello. This is Stukel here coming at you at 9 o'clock p.m. for a nighttime tutorial video on how to use Google Sheets and specifically how to graph things on Google Sheets, as this was a bit of a mess in 4th block, so hopefully it'll be better in 5th. Here we are. This is data gathered from group 2 of 4th block, and we are going to turn this data into some nice looking graphs. So first things first, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our average time and our average position, and we're going to turn these into an average velocity. So average velocity, we'll type in our thing here. If I can do typing, maybe that's going to be the bane of me this attempt. And let's start entering in some data. Generally, our average velocity is just our position divided by time, so we can come here and just kind of set that up. We'll have this equal to our position value divided by our time value. And note how it's just going to try and autofill all this data in for me. I'm not going to accept it. You can, and instead I'm going to do it the other way. If it doesn't give you that prompt, you can always come up here, just pull down on this blue dot, and get all that data in that way as well. Either way works. Okay, so that's the first part. Now we're going to actually start making the tables themselves. We're going to insert a chart. This will be the first step. We're going to turn it into a line chart, as that's what we're going to want. And then we're going to select our x-axis and our series, or the data we want on our y-axis. So for our x-axis, all of our data, all of our graphs, everything we're doing this year specifically, will have time as our x-axis, what we're graphing against on x. So we'll, for the x-axis specifically, choose time as what we'll put there. Note how when I select average t here, that's what it labels that there. We can then add a series. We have to click this select a data range box here. As we do so, we can then select up our average x. Okay, and there we go. We have one beautiful graph worth of data. A little chunky there, but whatever, close enough. So let's go and customize this out. First things first, we're going to want to actively title this. So we go to chart title. Here we enter in our chart title. This is our position versus time graph. So we have that there. We'll want our horizontal axis title. This is time in seconds. And we'll want our vertical axis title as position in meters. Okay, and there we go. This is what we have. We now want to set up a trend line for this. We'll do series here. I'm going to turn the line opacity of our actual data down, and then we can set forth a trend line. The trend line I'll turn up in opacity here, and I'll make it slightly thicker here so we can see it better. And if you note, this is not well representative of this data. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to turn it into polynomial. And we're going to keep it at a second degree polynomial, for this graph at least. We can now use the equation as our label for this line, and that'll show us what the equation for this is. And we can even show r squared right here, which shows us that this trend line has an r squared of 0.996, which means it is quite accurate with modeling this data. So we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave it there. If we were to take this and turn it into linear, note how our r squared value goes all the way down to 0.929. A lot less close to the thing. Okay, so this is our data here. We have our thing, we have our equation, and our r squared. That's where I want to leave it. We can then go forward and insert our next chart. This will be our velocity versus time chart. So we're going to put this chart here, and we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. Line chart, add x series, select our average time, and then add series here, but this time instead of selecting average x, we'll select average v. Okay, so we have this here. We'll do the same customization. We label our chart title, velocity versus time. We go to our horizontal axis, we label this time, And we go to our vertical axis and label this. I'll do average velocity. And this is in meters per second. Okay, cool. So now we have all of our labels good, and then we can go back to series here, turn our line opacity down, add a trend line, line opacity up, make it broader, and now if you note, this matches this pretty well. We get an R² value of 0.991. That's pretty decent. And then we can just use our equation as the thing here. This right here is the point I want you to get to. Having both of these tables here, both of these charts here, and having all your data tabulated over here. Okay. Once you get to this point, you're set, and we have, got our data nice, set, and beautiful. Thank y'all for watching in here, and I hope your thing all goes all right. Thank ya.